Merrimack TV content may no longer be available on YouTube. To continue watching our programs, please download the Merrimack TV app from your device's App Store. Programs may also be available at merrimacktv.com.
Good evening and welcome to the June 12th meeting of the Town Council. If you kindly rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. For announcements, all I have are upcoming meetings. Tuesday, June 24th from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. We will be having our council retreat, and that's going to be at the Carriage House at Buckley's Great Stakes. Our next regular meeting is Thursday, June 26th at 7 p.m. and Thursday, June 17th at 7 p.m. also. July. Oh my gosh. July 17th, all here in the Matthew Thornton Room. Paul, please save me.
Will do. Do you want to make the announcement about Councilor Albert?
Yes. Councilor Albert has been excused from this evening's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Kick off your weekend early with the Merrimack Parks and Rec Department's new night for our free weekly concert series. Now will be held on Thursdays at Abbey Griffin Park. We're excited to introduce a newly renamed Thursday Night Live. Join us each week starting at 6 p.m. for live music featuring a variety of musical styles. The 2025 concert series begins on Thursday, June 26th, so we can open up the windows and listen during our meeting, and continues every Thursday through August 21st. For full concert details, visit Merrimack Parks with an S and rec.org. That's merrimackparksandrec.org, or call 603-882-1046. The Town of Merrimack's annual 4th of July parade is just around the corner, and we want you to be part of the celebration. Organized by the Merrimack Parks and Rec Department, this event is one of the largest Independence Day parades in the state of New Hampshire. Whether you're a local business, community group, or performer, or just love to show your patriotic spirit, we're inviting you to register your vote and join the fun. There is no cost to participate, but advance registration is required by Friday, June 27th. For complete details, please call the Parks and Rec Department at 603-882-1046, or you can register at www.merrimackparks with an S again and rec.org. merrimackparksandrec.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Next is comments from the press and public. If you would like to address the council, you can sit at the table or stand at the mic. And seeing no one coming forward, we have no recognitions, resignations, or retirements, no appointments, and no public hearings. Updates from our legislative delegation. See no one here. Did you?
I do have one. And
Okay.
you want me to go first? Okay, great. There have been a lot of bills this year that have been passed, and we're starting to catch up with some of those. One in particular is the permanent and totally disabled vet credit. That increased from $4,000 to upwards of $5,000. The council would have to bring this back as part of the ordinance procedure to bring it back to increase that from the $4,000 to $5,000, because we have ordinances with that. But really, there's a lot of different bills that have been passed that will affect, some of our zoning ordinances and some of our other stuff. So I know we're only meeting once in July and once in August. With our ordinances and things of that sort, we need 3 readings every time we change it. So if we do a first reading, on June 26th, the next public hearing will be July 17th. The following meeting will be August, I don't have the August date, for finalization. So I'm just wondering how the council would like us to proceed with some of this legislation that will affect our ordinances. Do we want to just put them on hold and take them up in September, beginning in August and September, or do we want to run them through the process when we get them and get them forward to the council?
I would think schedule, how the schedule looks, where it's once a month. They still tend to be light schedules.
Okay.
Are there some that are important to be able to review early? I mean, like the veteran credit,
Mhm.
perhaps that's not going to take that long. So that would be an issue with me. If it could be a quick review,
Mhm.
a quick adoption, there's no reason why we couldn't start. Or if it's something that really is legitimately important to get done before September,
Okay.
for whatever reason.
Okay.
Do you
So,
know-
yeah,
is
I
that-
understand what you're saying, yeah. A lot of the bills some of them have been signed, like this veterans credit, it was House Bill 99. It will take effect on July 13th. It was brought to our attention today by a veteran, but it takes effect on July 13th. There are other bills that are going up to the governor's desk to be signed over the next few weeks. I'm sure Councilor Murphy will tell you the crazy schedule they're keeping for the next couple of weeks because they're in committees of conference and getting bills ironed out and sent up to the governor for signature. But there are some zoning ones that are still hanging out there, and there's some other ones that would probably affect some of our zonings from some
Just
of our
the zoning,
ordinances.
to me, could wait a little bit.
Okay.
But other kinds of things, like the veterans and perhaps some other ones, that would be easy to review
Yeah.
and do it quickly, then there's, I guess that's my opinion.
All right, so we can put together a schedule. We'll see what goes on. I'll talk to my department heads, find out what bills will affect our ordinances, and we'll get together with the schedule and move forward. But
Yeah, if you could get a list,
yeah.
so we'd have a
I'm
better understanding.
not hearing a big objection to, the June, July,
Starting it.
August stuff
Yeah.
right now.
Right, because it's got to, like the veterans one, has to go to the ballot, does it not?
No, it does not, because you actually have that.
It's an ordinance.
It's an
Yes,
ordinance.
okay.
You would have to change the
I've
dollar
seen-
amount,
yeah.
like you're disabled
Yes,
and you're elderly.
yeah,
Those are all
Yeah, no.
ordinances where you can change the amounts.
got it.
Great. Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you. That's all that I have for legislative updates.
Nancy?
Sure, thank you. The bills that we're addressing right now basically are or non-concurrence with what the Senate has done to them. So the bills have already been heard. The House bills were heard in the Senate, and the Senate bills have been heard in the House. And right now, what we're trying to determine is whether or not we agree with whatever the Senate has done to our bills. And unfortunately, sometimes really good bills, the language of the really good bill that passed on consent is struck from that bill, and something that didn't pass but somebody really wants it to pass now becomes that bill. So that's where we're in. I mean, I'm looking at this list of bills that we voted on today, and without going through what the bill did, it really doesn't make sense to tell you what we concur with and what we didn't concur with, because it was a lot. It's a lot of housing bills that have concerned me. It just seemed we had so many housing bills, and I think, in theory, people were trying to address the housing shortage that we have, but what concerned me personally was it was this hodgepodge of everybody trying to do something different, no local control, and I'm concerned about what we would wind up with. Like, there was one bill, I can't remember the number, but it was, that developers could build X, Y, and Z housing, but like with one parking spot per unit. Well, it's great if you only have one car, but where are they going to park? They're going to park on our streets, or and it creates a problem. So I just feel like there's been this rush to create housing opportunities, and we certainly need them, but I don't think things are always particularly well thought out, or the unintended consequences of those things. So I haven't supported a lot of the housing bills just for that reason. Certainly tenants' rights, yes, landlord ownership rights, that kind of stuff, certainly. But just all these ideas that are people with different motives coming from different places.
Are
And
there
I
a
just,
lot of zoning changes?
There are some zoning changes that are going to be coming through as well.
it's
That's
some-
one of them is this one spot, if this passes. I don't know if that passed today or not, but reducing the number of parking spots per unit from 1.5 to 1.
That would be dramatic.
Right.
Well, yeah, especially if you look at a place like Executive Park Drive and say they can build another
All the
building,
condos.
Right.
instead of having all those parking spots, they can put another building in. I'm not saying they're going to, but they put another building in. Now, what do you do with those 50, 60 spots that you just lost on Merrimack roads that nobody can park on a Merrimack road from, November to April? So, and we don't have parking garages.
Yeah, where do couples living in an
Yeah.
apartment park? If
Park.
there's two people that have to go to work, what are they, great, they've got this apartment, but, if there's not even, they have to then purchase additional parking, which may not even be where they are. So that's the unintended consequences, and I did not support that. I just will mention, Representative Bill Boyd did a great job today, in the was HB 342. It was relative to the approval process for new construction and to the adoption of energy efficient and clean energy districts by municipalities. And the Senate had made minor changes to the underlying bill and appended new non-germane language relative to clean energy district. And I know my caucus supported it. I did not. I voted with Bill, and it was a division vote, but that we did not concur, and actually we won on that, which was 195 no to 154 yes. So Bill did a great job opposing that bill, and there were so many of these bills that look great from the state perspective, but have such an impact on communities and towns that nobody's there to say, hey, local control.
Consequences, yeah.
So anyway, and the only other thing I would mention is a huge thank you to our police chief, Brian Levesque, and former police chief Denise Roy, who worked really hard with me for about 6 months, and the governor signed our bill on Friday, which HB 602, which creates a new mandate for individuals convicted of DUI or DUI pled down to reckless or negligent driving. There's no question that highway safety is at an all-time. It is insane, and law enforcement, they're at their wits' end. I mean, they're just how do you protect people, the drivers that are driving like this, as well as the public, without some additional changes in the law. So I serve on the governor's special task force on highway safety, and there's a bill. There was a House bill and a Senate bill competing. It was the same bill, back and forth, and the House, trying to pass it and appease one section of House membership, added a gun training education component from kindergarten through grade 12. I supported the bill. Prior to that, I did not support it when they added that. I thought the highway safety, it made great sense to me for us to look at making sure that we increase compliance with consent and breathalyzers and blood tests. So we had a 75% non-compliance. In other states around us, 20%. And they're, just, we've got to do something. So anyway, the HB 602 passed, and that will require that these individuals convicted will be mandated to complete a driver impact panel program. And it's neither a carrot or a stick. It's not punitive. And Chief Levesque had reached out to me and said, hey, you need to see this program. And former Chief Denise Roy sent it to me to try, and I failed the first test, I was actually very happy. I was distracted. I was at my son's driver's ed class. But it's a 3 or 4 hour program, online, available in English and Spanish. This law will take place starting January. And it's a $100 cost through U-Impact panel program that Denise Roy works with in Florida, and different prosecutors here are using it in Milford District Court, and I know there's a couple of other courts. So it's already in use in Manchester, in localities around here, and it has a recidivism decrease of like 35%. So if we save lives, and I hear it's very impactful to people, and there may be an article in the Union Leader coming out next week. I've got some everybody working on that. So, again, thank you. They worked hard, they showed up, and it really made a difference. It was the inspiration for that, and really, their presence was heard and made a big difference. So, thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Next, we have the town manager's report.
I have nothing tonight for interest of time, so we can move on.
Thank you, Paul. We have nothing on the consent agenda and no old business. First item under new business, the council to consider the acceptance and expenditure of a donation in the amount of $9,732.51 from the Merrimack Crime Line for the Merrimack Police Department to be used towards restoration work on the department's 57 Chevy sedan delivery dare car, of which $5,000 of that would be used, and for the the Comfort Dog program, which is $4,732.51 to be used for MAC, pursuant to RSA 3195B and Charter Article 8, Section 15. Dep, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very well.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to present this very generous donation. As indicated, the total amount is $9,732.51 from Merrimack Crime Line. So we have $5,000. I came to you, I want to think probably about a year ago, for the restoration work we're doing on our dare car. And at the amount at that time that donated was like $20,000. No surprise, it went over. They've been actually donating a lot of their own time at the body shop, so we really appreciate that. But it's going to cost an additional $5,000 to get it done. It's actually, I should say get it done. It is done right now, but we owe the $5,000. So it's all painted. The emblems are back on. All we're waiting on right now is we have like a mock-up done for the lettering and the badging on the car. So, and we're going with an old school look. It's going to look different, but it's going to look really nice. So, and we're hoping it's going to be ready for the 4th of July parade. That's the plan. So we'll see if that happens. And the additional funds, the $4,732.51. Just so you know, the MAC, the Comfort Dog program was a donation. It's not funded by tax dollars. So all the money that's used for his insurance, vet bills, and training, those are probably the 3 big things, all come from donations and fundraising. So that's where this money is going to be going to. And it was raised by selling a lot of the stuffed, the plush dogs.
Plushes, yeah.
We sell patches, MAC patches. So that's what that money is going to be used for. So that's all the information I have, unless you have some questions or.
I've seen Mac in action, so the training consists of teaching him to roll over on his back to be scratched.
Yeah, basically, yes. He's very friendly.
That's when I saw him in action. He was just on his back. Anybody have any
The
questions?
training is to allow everybody to pet him and him putting up with it, probably.
Yeah.
So, what's the pleasure of the council?
So I'll motion now.
Go ahead, go for it.
So I'm going to motion to accept the donations in the amount of $9,732.51 from the Merrimack Crime Line for the Merrimack Police Department to be used towards restoration of their Department's 57 Chevy sedan, and the $4,732.51 remaining for the Comfort Dog program as well.
Motion by Tom,
I'll make a second.
seconded by Mackenzie.
Just a friendly motion pursuant to RSA 31-95:B and Charter Article 8-15, and have the town manager sign all necessary and appropriate documents.
Agreed.
Agreed. Got it's about you, Paul.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Mackenzie. If there's no further discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstained? That's 6-0-0. Thanks, Chief.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, the council to consider a request for permission to conduct non-invasive field sampling at Horse Hill Nature Preserve between July and September of 2025 for a research project for Riviera University. This is submitted by Riviera University Department of Biology Assistant Professor
Go ahead, give it a shot.
Abe Rothna. I worked on it. So thank you for being here. And did you want to just give the council a little overview of,
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Nimanti Abiratna. I serve as an assistant professor in the Revere University. So last year I applied for an NIH grant. It's a seed grant. It's for an year. So my topic was about Lyme disease, and what I'm doing is I'll be collecting ticks from different parts in the Merrimack Valley, because that's the area closest to the campus, and then I'll be sequencing them with the University of New Hampshire Genome Co. So what I'm actually looking at is how the environmental factors affecting the microbe load in these ticks. So it's mostly like a genomic project, but I have to collect the tick to do that. So I was asking for permission from different places and through email and all, and this is the only place I have to come and ask for it. So that's what I'm trying to do. But with the things that's going on, I did not get my offer letter, the money is not there yet. I have 20K, but it's not there, not there in my hands yet. So my expectancy is to start from July 1st, but I don't know what will happen. So I'm just seeking for permission to be on grounds and just go and collect the ticks.
very good. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, any questions?
I just want to say you can have all our ticks.
Seems like a simple decision.
I guess.
Yes, please.
The one reason why you're here is because we want to let the public know, because a lot of people go to Horse Hill Nature Preserve where you're going to be collecting them.
Yes.
And we want them to know that what's going on, so if they see you out there doing something, they don't call our police department and say, hey, what are they doing?
Yeah.
So how are you going to collect the ticks? I know you're not going to run up to the deers and scrape them and.
No, it's a very non-invasive process. So it'll be I'll have 2 undergraduate students working with me. So they will be wearing coveralls because of the health issues and everything. And we will be having drag clothes. It's like you put a cloth on a pole and then you just drag it for a distance, and then you check it for ticks, and then we just collect them in a vial, and that's it. It's very non-invasive, and I'll be placing some of the hobos. That means they would collect the humidity, the temperature, and everything in the sampling sites. They would be sitting there for I guess a month. They're very descriptive, small equipments, and I'll be collecting them later. So yeah, that's basically it.
Great.
Yeah, it's mostly just for information for the public here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. You're exactly right.
Yes, I just have a
Jennifer.
question for Paul. This doesn't need to come before Conservation Commission, correct? I can just let them know about it?
Yeah, usually they come in and the council gives permission for the process. I'm sure they'll be very excited that they're going to get some tick study out of this. As long as it doesn't affect the turtles, we're good.
Sure. What's the pleasure?
All right, Paul, I'd like the motion. I'd like to motion to let Riviera University Department of Biology to conduct non-invasive field samplings of Horse Hill Nature Preserve between July and September 2025 for a research project for the university.
By Tom, second by Nancy. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstained? 600. Thank you very much.
That was
Thank
painless.
you so much for having me. Thank you.
All right. Next under new business, council to consider the acceptance and expenditure of a donation in the amount of $1,220 from Bear Christensen Trust through the trustees of the trust funds to the Parks and Recreation Department in collaboration with the Welfare Department to be used towards Camp Scholarship Fund. $620 towards the after-school program scholarship fund. Let me start that over. $620 will go towards the Camp Scholarship Fund, and the $600 will go to the after-school program scholarship fund.
Right.
This is pursuant to RSA 3195B and Charter Article 8, Section 15.
So, want to thank the Christiansens once again for their generous donations here. It's pretty self-explanatory where kids can go to camp, and this will be probably a couple of sessions for somebody who's a little less fortunate to be able to spend time and go to camp, and like everything else goes to our welfare department to to proceed to through Matt and get the kids to have a happy, fun summer.
Thanks, Paul. Understood. So, Mackenzie? Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion that the town council approve the acceptance and expenditure of a donation in the amount of $1,220 from the Bear Christensen Trust through the Trustee of Trust Funds to the Parks and Rec Department in collaboration with the Welfare Department to be used toward the Camp Scholarship Fund and toward the After School Program Scholarship Fund pursuant to RSA 31:95B and Charter Article 8-15, and allow the town manager to sign any and all documentation related to that.
I'll second.
Motion by Mackenzie, seconded by Tom. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstained? 6-0-0. All right, number 4 under new business, the council to consider the proposed canoe/kayak rack bore storage program at Wasserman Park that provides Merrimack residents with the opportunity to rent seasonal storage space, eliminating the need to transport their boats daily.
So,
Good evening, Matt.
Matt's here to discuss this topic. He came to me about a month ago and brought this forward, and we discussed it. And thanks to the generosity of a Boy Scout member last year, you guys approved the kayak racks. So Matt's here to discuss how we're going to use those kayak racks as well.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me the time tonight. One of the things we get asked in the summer months, probably 2 or 3 times a week from residents, is either how can I leave my boat here so I don't have to lug it home back and forth from home every day, or can I use your boats so I don't have to lug my boats from home every day? And so we've been kind of talking about this topic for a couple of years now. As Paul mentioned, we had a Eagle Scout project 2 years ago that built us a new boat storage rack. Originally, we were thinking for our own boats to expand our fleet, but then we started honing in on this idea of a boat storage rack for residents as a service. Now, when I worked in Manchester by the Sea before coming here to Merrimack, we actually had 5 of these around at various locations in our community with I think when I left, it was something like a 4-year wait list. Because there was just that much demand for this type of thing. But it's kind of growing everywhere in New England, including Amherst, Exeter, and Portsmouth are all doing this program. And so we've been kind of trying to build out a model of what would this look like. And so, as we said, we had this Scout project built 2 years ago. And the idea, in the last 6 months, we've had Primex look at this. We've talked to the other communities that are doing this about kind of legal issues. We've also, challenges, those kind of things, what works, what doesn't work. Town's legal counsel has also reviewed some of the language here. But the idea here is, first of all, this is a new program, and what I'm proposing is to start it off as a lottery system instead of, in my last community, it was just a first come, first serve. But here we're going to have 9 spots to start here. We'd run a lottery, open a lottery up for 2 weeks. Have everybody enter their names. We run the lottery. Here's your winners. You get assigned spot X within that rack. Then what we do is we issue them a sticker similar to the one here on the screen. This came actually from the company that already does the town's transfer station stickers, and something they can produce for us fairly quickly. The owner then pays a $100 fee for the year, and then they're responsible for locking their boat to their assigned spot in the rack. The idea of the permit on here is obviously so we can identify that, this particular boat belongs to that person. So it's not just somebody going, oh, I can leave my boat there. when it's, somebody's paid for that right to do that. And obviously, since Wasserman Park is restricted to residents only for the beach, then, we would limit that location to Merrimack residents. The thought process is, the season would be Memorial Day to Labor Day. And then, this is not a moneymaker by any stretch of the imagination. The cost would cover things like signage, rack repairs, the stickers, those kinds of things. It's more about providing a service. But I think if it proves as popular here as it has in other places that I've been, in other places that I've seen, we could potentially look at expanding to Veterans Park, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but maybe Weston Park, Horseshoe Pond, again, just depending on what the actual level of interest is. And at other locations other than Wasserman, we could potentially have a non-resident option as well for obviously a higher fee. Now, interestingly enough, a couple of weeks ago, the incoming president of the Rotary Club reached out to me and said, hey, we just got a big district grant from Rotary International and we want to give it to Parks and Rec. And they apparently had been at some meeting over in Amherst and saw the kayak rack program that Amherst has had for a number of years and said, do you think you could do that here? And I said, well, funny you should ask, because we've been working on it. And so they are interested basically in funding a second location for us already. And so what we're looking, whoop, wrong button. Come on. And so what we're looking at is a additional commercial grade rack. The one that the Scout built was obviously all made out of wood. This is a commercial made product that we found that would house 12 boats. The cost of this is about $2,500, give or take. And what we've been kind of thinking about over at Veterans Park by the boat ramp, if you're standing kind of at the top of the boat ramp, there's this nice little walking path from the parking lot down to the ramp. And on both sides of the path, it's nice and wide open and there's nothing there. It's relatively flat. And so our thought process here is, partnering up with the Rotary Club for them to buy us that secondary rack so that we could expand immediately to a second location. Like I said, I do believe that there will be the interest in this. Again, it would still be a lottery system, as is everything else.
The good thing about that is it's still Natticook Lake.
It is.
So if they don't get down by
Wasserman,
it's still
the same
Natticook
place.
Lake by the boat ramp.
And so ideally, what I'm looking for tonight, with your blessing, obviously, is approval to, start the program, and establish a fee structure. As I said, I'm thinking kind of Memorial Day to Labor Day in a normal year, but obviously, since we've already kind of passed that deadline, I'm thinking, a normal year would be, $100 for a resident for the year. But since we're starting late this year, I'm thinking 75, just as a, and then if we were to do Veterans Park as well, 150 and 100 for this first year to get things off the ground. As I said, for non-residents, yes. And I've talked to both the boat company as well as the sticker company and the sign company, and I can get all of this up and running within about 2 or 3 weeks with your blessing. So if we had approval to start this program tonight, I can, we could open the lottery tomorrow. We'd have an online and a paper version and kind of get things going for July 1 is our thought process. And so I will take questions with that.
Nancy and then Jen.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt. Is there any preference for residents over non-residents
For
the,
Veterans Park.
for,
Well, he had
Well,
mentioned-
Wasserman would have to be residents
Yeah.
only
Right.
anyway. If we wanted to keep veterans to just residents only and for a month, again, until we actually do it, I don't know how.
We have to look at the interest. We're gonna put a,
Me too.
we will talk, but we'll probably put forward prioritize the residents if we do, because we have 12 and what would you say, it's 9?
9.
So 21, if we get 21 people that want to come out in the lottery, it's, you know,
Agree.
if we get 50, we're going to prioritize.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking like the MYA, you know, we were trying to open up sports to kids from other communities, which I think is still a great thing, but not to the exclusion of the kids that live here. So I would love to see it if Merrimack residents always had priority, as long as,
Yeah.
you know, just in,
Agreed.
I think it's a phenomenal thing, and I don't know how many people own kayaks and what the interest will be, but, I don't know, I'd just like to see residents have first dibs.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, Jennifer. yes.
I actually had that same question, but I also noticed on the rental application under storage regulations, this is, I'm guessing is a typo, but I just wanted to check. It says securing their canoe or kayak to the road. I'm assuming that should be rack.
Yep,
Okay.
I will fix that.
Fast fingers because you call them boars instead of boats.
Yeah. You would think spell check would fix those things, but whatever. Okay, we'll fix that.
Is- Did you have
My
something?
question was the same thing.
I think, yeah.
In
everybody
terms
had
of
that, I think.
Veterans Park.
As far as security, Matt, are these, you're able to lock your boat up and you,
Yeah, so these all have kind of like a center post, so you bring your own chain and lock, and you run it through your boat and around the,
And we're not responsible for lost or stolen property.
yeah.
That's one of the things in here too, is that you're responsible for, it's like you leave your car at Shaw's, somebody breaks in your car at Shaw's. Shaw's is not responsible. We're not responsible for if somebody, you don't secure your boat properly or somebody cuts the chains.
yeah.
Yep.
Nancy?
The only other thing I was going to say, they were just missing a word on that rental application.
Yep.
The third bullet from the bottom,
Yep.
the very last line, it says attempt contact the owner. It says, so it should say the town of Merrimack will attempt to contact the owner.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay.
And then Matt, on the dates in terms of like the lottery, if spaces are still available,
It would
Is
just,
that-
and then it's just first come, first served if spaces are available.
So, Matt, a question. I think it's a great program. For the second location at Veterans Park,
Yep.
I'd be a little concerned with that because of the boat ramp. Because there's a lot of cars, I take my boat down there. And when you take your boat out, you gotta put your truck and trailer somewhere. So if there's that rack, and you have all those cars where that car's parked there, and they're all down there, then if you're pushing, or if the boats and the trailers are there, because you can't pull them right in.
Well, so
Traffic
the
could get a
rack
little
would go on this, beside this path. It would not be where in the parking, we're not taking up parking, or
Right.
there's nothing there right now.
Right, but if everyone's down there at the same time, it's gonna get a little crowded, is my concern, because there's the boat ramp there.
Yeah.
And it's a nice boat ramp.
Can you see where a rack might be? Okay.
I think, I don't want to speak for Tom, but I think he's talking about the total congestion of the kayaks and the boats.
And the boats and the trailers and stuff like that,
But I-
yes. It'd be,
Yeah.
it could be a big congestion down there.
If 3 or 4 people have their boat on their trailer ready to launch, and
thought you
what you're
were
saying is
Yes, and
3 or
that-
4 people, and then all of a sudden I got my kayak that I
And you
want to
paid
launch there too.
75 bucks.
Yeah, I paid 75
You don't wanna
bucks.
walk from the baseball field at Vets Park to go kayak.
But that,
So is it the placement of the rack?
Yes, I think it's a location, I think it's, I don't,
Is there a place that you, since you know the site?
away from the boat ramp.
what's the,
But that-
okay, I don't know if I'm following you now, though, Tom. I thought your concern was the number of basically parking spaces for people who want to use boats and/or kayaks.
Exactly, it is.
And so if somebody might have to park farther away, but that's kind of a first come, you know, if you
Yeah,
have,
okay, yeah,
if
I'm
everybody
just-
has a
I'm-
motorboat and you're the 10th one there and there's no room.
Right,
You might
right.
still have to park away, so.
I get it, but it's, people are gonna get aggravated. 'Cause it's a nice lake. You know, I mean, you can do it at Horseshoe, I mean, Horseshoe would be ideal, because you can't get a boat in there, and you have to drive half your truck into the pond to launch
That's
your
not
boat.
Parks and Rec, that's the problem.
Right, but I saw that Horseshoe Pond is part of, on this presentation.
It was an idea for a
Yeah.
future location, yeah, but we have not talked to conservation at all
Oh, right,
about
right.
that, so.
Because that would be more ideal for that, because you can't get boats in there, though it has a ramp. I mean, I tried to put my boat in there, I won't,
That's
because
shallow.
half my truck was in the water. Yeah, so doesn't dig at the bone. Anyways, but yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's starting at Wasserman for now. So I'll make a motion if no one wants to talk about it anymore. I'll motion to approve Parks and Rec to establish a canoe kayak rack storage program to be placed at Wasserman Park, to be given to Merrimack residents the opportunity to store their boats there from current day to Labor Day.
Second. Does that cover what you need?
Yeah, for Wasserman, and
Just to start.
because it's a donation of the Rotary, we'd still have to come back and discuss it.
Anyway.
We'd have to accept it anyways and get going. And I think Matt understands the concerns about what's going on if that's park, and he can look at it a little bit further and see about Horseshoe, if that would work better. So he'll look at those two things before he brings back the donation
Because we
from the
have to do
Rotary.
Donation.
Yeah, because I'm sure they're going to know the answer before they make the purchase, too. Nancy?
And the other thing, and just to address Tom's concern, I mean, when the decision is made to try, we could always try it for a year, just see what kind of problem there is for one summer, a temporary, for veterans I'm talking about. You know, maybe consideration of what the parking concerns are, and then, you know, if we're still sort of wondering, and we're having a lot of interest in that, it might be worthy of saying this is you know, we're gonna try it for a summer and see how it goes.
Okay.
I guess,
We've got a motion.
yeah, are we all set? Any further questions? Comments? No. I'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. Thanks, Matthew.
And I just want to congratulate Matt's daughter, who's in the back row. Matt, what is she? She's a champion baton twirler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll be competing next month at the National Baton Twirling Championship at Notre Dame.
How cool.
Yeah.
Tom's sister was I remember, she was a,
She went to Purdue University.
Okay, nice.
There you go. But
Good
no,
for you.
congratulations to her, and
Congratulations.
that's a great honor for
That's
any
awesome.
parent and
Very
child.
exciting.
Very good. Good luck.
Where are they being held?
Notre Dame.
Oh,
Indiana, yeah.
very nice.
good luck.
Good luck, kiddo.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. All right, next item under new business, the council consider the nomination to appoint Andrew Duane as a member on the Sauhegan River Local Advisory Committee. We've been given this,
I can speak to that.
please, Jim.
So Andrew is a member of the Conservation Commission, and we had a resident, George May, came and spoke with us a couple of months ago. He's on one of these local advisory committees, and was mentioning that they're getting low on members for both the rivers, and that I think we only had one person on one of the rivers for town. So Andrew has stepped up to fill one of the spots, and I highly recommend him for this position.
Very good. Anybody have any questions? No? Somebody like to make a motion, Jennifer?
I can make a motion. Let's see, make a motion to approve the nomination and appoint Andrew Duane as a member of the Sauhegan River Local Advisory Committee.
Motion by Jennifer, second by Nancy Murphy. There's no further discussion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. With thanks. I'm glad somebody's doing it.
Yes, and you'll be hearing from Johnny DeBellis about in Watson Park. He's been taking the water samples
Oh,
for E. coli down there, so,
perfect.
yeah, he's been doing that. But he'll be probably June 26th. He has a request of the council, so,
It'll be good to see him.
yes.
And there are still openings for both the Merrimack and the Sauhegan. If anybody is interested, can reach out to the Conservation Commission.
Great. All right, next item. Council to consider a request for the transfer of funds in the amount of $30,000 to cover the shortfall in the Welfare Department's budget pursuant to RSA 3210, Charter Article 8, Section 8.
So, as we all know, longtime welfare administrator Pat Murphy was part-time. This year, she retired in January. We hired a full-time employee for the department who's been incredible. She hit the ground running. The department did not lose a beat. We are right where we were with Pat, moving forward, which is great. However, because she's a full-time employee, we have to increase because the salary is a little bit more than what we were paying Pat, and then the benefits. So looking at the budget right now, we're down to the last 18 days of the fiscal year. So looking at the budget with welfare, we're going to be overspent the budget line item. Charter Article 8-8 says that you look at department's budget bottom line. It's not, we do not budget, we budget line item, but when we're looking at the appropriation side of the house, we look at bottom line for a department. And in this case, welfare is going to be overspent by about $30,000 because of the benefits and the additional salary and welfare. Housing, there's some savings in housing. There's some savings in electricity in the budget to help offset the amount, but we're looking at about $30,000 need. So we're asking the council tonight to move money because I have an account that I put money aside in for general government, for raises and bonuses and things of that sort, because when we bring people in and out, it's in my general government account. So I do have money in the 0101-8143 to cover the costs for the welfare department. And the other thing is that we had a full-time IT person coming in for 6 months. We kind of shifted that money to cover this welfare position. So starting next year, we did a full year for the IT person. They will start July 7th for us. So we kind of used that money that we had set aside for that position for this welfare, but that's all in my 01 general fund, general government fund. So requesting the council to authorize the transfer of $30,000 from general government line item 0101-8143 to the welfare department line item 0125-8104 and the associated benefit accounts.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Nancy Harrington, second by Tom. Any further comments, questions? See none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstained, 600.
And I believe there will be no other departments that will be overspent, so we won't be coming forward to ask for more money to be moved around. So, and once again, we are closing our 18 days, actually 17 days as of tomorrow left in this fiscal year. It's wild to say that we're going to start our second year of default in 18 days. So, but, yep, that's where we're at.
Tons of fun. So, all right. Moving on. Oh, yes, we did vote.
Oh, jeez.
Makes me feel better. I'm okay, because I do it all the time.
Between the two of us.
So, all right, next item under new business. The council discussed the settlement agreement between the town of Merrimack and the Merrimack Premium Outlets.
See, I didn't want to talk about this.
I know, that's where you were going. So, well, I guess I'll just touch real quick on, we all know that in 2017, the Premium Outlets filed a lawsuit against the town as it was related to their assessed value on at the Premium Outlets Boulevard property. And their claim was that the town didn't have the authority to change their assessment midway. And the lawsuit from 2017 was amended to include 2018, 19, and 20. The Superior Court ruled in favor of the town, but the MPO went and brought it up to the Supreme Court, which sent it back down to the lower court. And then it went up the next time it was brought up, and the Supreme Court found that the town did not have the right to arbitrarily change that midstream. And so it was being fought as an abatement case, and they saw it differently, of the change. But Paul, if you...
Yeah, so the, like Chairman said, the Supreme Court overturned the lower court ruling on February 28th of 2025. At that time, we knew that the 4 years of assessed value versus the prior assessed value totaled about $6.5 million in tax revenue that we received that we'd have to refund to MPO. And really the only thing left to discuss, because of the way the Supreme Court made their ruling, was interest and the interest in the case. So we walked into a negotiated settlement for interest of $750,000 with the MPO. Basically, the gist of the court case was that MPO, Merrimack Premium Outlets, thought that we did not have the authority we just came through an a revaluation. And at that time, we should have valued the property. We couldn't arbitrarily the next year increase their value we found something out with a third party, and we couldn't just arbitrarily increase their value. So what happened was they fought that as an equity case, and the Supreme Court ruled in favor of MPO that it is actually an equity case, that the town did not have the authority to arbitrarily just increase that one property because we just came through the revaluation. So when all is said and done, there's $7,217,594.85 payment that is needed to be paid back to Merrimack Premium Outlets because of the court case. The town of Merrimack, we've talked about this several times, that we have a rainy day fund, and it's called our fund balance. And we had a beginning of 24-25, we had $10 million in that rainy day fund. We projected to use some of that money and come out with the rainy day fund of just over $8.3 million. After we make this payment of $7.3 million, we'll have just over $1.1 million in the unreserved fund balance. We have a unreserved fund balance policy. Basically, we're supposed to keep between 4% and 8% in the fund balance. That was voted on by the residents of Merrimack years ago. And even though it's advisory, this council has tried to uphold that 4 to 8%. Knowing that this case was ongoing, the council has been holding a little bit more than the 8% in the fund balance, just in case. And the just in case came through. True, I should say. But we do have money to pay this. It's in the unreserved fund balance. What will happen if there's no additional money put into the fund balance this year as we close, like I said, in 18 days? We'll have 0.83% of our fund balance. So we have to build the fund balance back up over years. We're not going to budget to increase this fund balance. This will be just increased by revenue over estimates and appropriation savings like we have done in the past. The council has taken a very conservative approach with this and looking at this fund balance and increasing or decreasing the fund balance. So that's where we stand. It's not great news. It wasn't great news on February 28th. It's 4 months later, and it still stings that we lost the case, but the Supreme Court ruled it, and we have to abide by it. So I'm coming before you tonight to get authorization to pay the MPO the $7,217,594.85.
Tom?
So, Paul, just so everyone knows, you got them down to 750,000 interest.
That is correct.
Where did it start, and what were they looking for?
Well, I ran estimates with our attorneys, and we tried to get zero interest, and that didn't work, and they wanted $1.6 million in interest. We ended up settling for $750,000, so I was able to cut the interest in half not reduce, but to avoid extra legal fees. Because really what happened, the Supreme Court sent us rolling back down, and then we would have to go back and fight over the interest in the court, and it could be a year, it could be 2 years. So we both decided that it would be best for all parties concerned just to do this settlement, this judgment settlement for the interest of $750,000. And it was signed off by the Superior Court at the beginning of the month.
I'm glad it's over.
Yes, time to move forward.
Well, I'd like to motion to move to authorize the town manager to pay $7,217,594.85 to Merrimack Premium Outlets as outlined in the stipulated judgment between the town of Merrimack and the Merrimack Premium Outlets, and to have the town manager sign all necessary documentation.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Jennifer. No further discussion. I'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, 600.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you, Tom. All right. Next on the agenda is minutes from the May 22nd, 2025 meeting.
I did not find any needed corrections.
Nothing? All right.
So I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from Thursday, May 22nd, as printed.
Second.
Motion by Jennifer, second by Nancy Murphy. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain,
Abstain.
501. Nancy Harrington abstained. All right, comments from the press and public? Comments from the council? Nancy?
Just a reminder about the hot dogs for Alzheimer's Day, which is June 26th. Bob Bergen came, I think, a couple weeks ago to talk about that. Again, it'll be held in Our Lady of Mercy Church parking lot. That there will be a drive-through as well. I think the hours have changed. Is it 11 to
I think
6, right? Yes, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So hoping that lots of people turn out. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Tom?
So I'm the liaison to the MYA, Merrimack Youth Association. So there's some things going on with one of the fields, Trailski Field specifically. We have soccer, kids soccer down there during the weekends with, Paul's catching flies over there, with adult softball, out of town, tournament teams. So, of course, with adult men and softballs is, some inappropriate things going on, language, and more importantly, the balls that someone hits a foul ball and the kids are playing in the soccer field, it's going to take out a, kid's head. And one lady almost got hit in the head with a pop-up. So they would like to put in netting on the first base line. So right now, they have a quote for like $55,000. And this net has to be put on poles, telephone poles, and it's got to be able to go up and down, pull up and down, but it's it's quite a bit of money. We have a athletic fund in our budget, which is at about $142,000 right now. So I'd like MYA to come in for our next meeting and discuss how they want to prioritize that $142,000, because they also want lights for Bice Field, and they also, even when I was president of MYA, we always looked for fields. So that's going to take almost half their money if they want to put that net up. There is some ideas that we have that maybe we can discuss without using the money. But I would like for them to come in and just kind of prioritize where their funds that they want. Do they really need this $55,000? Is there things that we can do as a town to look at this men's softball tournament on Saturdays, which, I played softball for 16 years, and they've been here forever. And talk to Matt about the fees and things like that, and is it worth it, for kids in town and parents, because, it's like the school, kids, parents love their kids, and they also love their dogs as well. So it's priority with them. So, and their safety is a priority. So maybe it's something that we think about, usage of the field and who's using the fields from not in town, not residents of the town. So,
That's come up before, especially in terms of the behavior of the adults. So it's unfortunate that I'm still hearing it.
yeah, and it's been going on for a while now, and it's just going to come to, we discussed ideas of, do we stop it after this year? Again, that's a discussion of the council to make that.
Well, I think it would be a good discussion to have for a number of reasons, not least of which, that's a small parking area, and with the youth programs going on, I've been there, and parking is tight to begin with, so when you put a tournament game going on, I can't imagine it gets any better, so.
And somebody took down all the do not park on the signs. We've since ordered more, but I wish Matt was still here. He could tell you that I had him put them up one weekend on Amherst Road because people were parking on Amherst Road and in the intersections, and they disappeared somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets really crazy.
Yeah.
Crowded down there, but it's just you go there when there's a tournament going on with kids playing and stuff, and you can't even get down that road.
No, I played for years as well, and just knowing that they use Stradowski as what we call the loser bracket. So you could have a team there all day playing, and you could have 4 or 5 teams coming in because they lost in the winners bracket, and now they got to go play in the losers bracket, and you got cars coming in and out. And it's a little different now than when Tom and I basically played, is that we used to kind of carpool, leave the cars at Martell, and one guy would drive down, and you pile 6 or 7 guys in a car or a truck and go down to the field, and it would only be one car. Now it seems like everybody wants to drive their own car because if they lose, they want to get back to wherever they got to go for the weekend on it. And the other thing was tournaments used to be over a 2-day period. It used to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or 3-day period. They'd start Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. Now it's just one day. So these tournaments are just one day. 14 teams play in one day, and
It's chaos.
they're banging our fields pretty good with it, and it's chaos down at Tradowski, especially with the little kids.
We think though.
We don't need to talk about it. Now, I also know that, I know we don't want to get into discussion tonight, but there's other factors that are involved in it, like how those fields were given to the town of Merrimack and what their priorities were for the town of Merrimack as well. So we have to look at that as well as a group. So it's going to be, I'm going to try to get it on the 26th agenda, but it might slide to July.
Are you gonna, we can talk about it later.
I'm going to try to get all the parties
Okay, that's what I
together.
was-
That's why I'm saying it might not be the 26th. I'm going to try my hardest to get it on the 26th, but it might be July 17th that I can get everybody here at a meeting.
No, good. Thank you, Tom, for bringing that up. Anything further? Mackenzie? Oh, did you want to make a?
Motion to
move to
dismiss.
adjourn?
Motion to
Right,
adjourn.
Motion by Mackenzie,
Second.
seconded by Tom. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, 6-0-0. Thank you, everybody.
Way to go.